It's Thursday night. You know what that means. Another episode of the Kicking Out Podcast. I'm Tanner Lee, along with my co-host Paul Zartman. We're in studio, Paul.
I know.
First time
It's
in
a little weird.
Kicking Out Podcast history so far.
Yeah.
But big show on store.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about a little fallout from Revolution that kind of took the whole wrestling world by storm over Sunday night and majority of Monday and probably until last night, really.
I think, honestly, it was until last night.
We had an episode of Being the Elite this week, episode 246, titled Revolution 2021, we'll discuss. And, of course, last night's Dynamite, which I thought was a really good episode, like it always is.
Yeah, very solid. Got some good answers.
Yep, got some good answers, some much-needed answers, some responses. Still a little technical difficulty during one match that we'll talk about, but it's live television. You never know what's going to happen. Like we're live right now. If you're listening to this podcast, please hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and a review. If you're watching on Facebook, please give us a like. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, please give us a subscribe. You can also follow us on Twitter at Kicking Out Pod and the same handle on our Instagram at Kicking Out Pod. So we're all over the place. You can find us at anywhere pretty much. So.
Yeah.
We're rocking and rolling. So let's get right into Revolution. We had some picks going on.
We did. This was brutal for me. This was the first time I've ever lost a prediction.
Well, I'm going to bring up the predictions. I'm flashing mine there on the screen for everybody that's watching. And really, the difference maker came down to the pre-show match.
It did.
Yeah.
If Britt would have lost, I would have won.
I had 3 points on Britt and Rebel, but suspecting that there was going to be a surprise with how they set it up, and I was right. And you, I think, had 5 on that. That was the difference.
That was. We were. I kept joking throughout the pay-per-view. Can I just go ahead and predict Christian and put 5 points on him?
Yeah, you were right about that. I'll give you kudos there. You were right on that. I was right about Ethan Page being in the face of the Revolution ladder match. But we both didn't see the surprise in the women's tag match.
No.
Maki Ito. So I
wasn't too familiar with her until Sunday night, and still trying to adjust to exactly who she is.
I knew before they announced the brackets. I had heard over on Twitter like the week before, and then she was in the bracket, and I watched her match on YouTube, even though she lost in round 1. And everybody's like, they got to get her in AEW. Well, and then I had read before last weekend that she had a match in Japan on Friday and Saturday coming up. I'm like, oh, there's no way she's going to make it.
Right.
They got her on a plane right after her match Saturday, flew her over. So
yeah,
which I guess they can do, but when she goes back to Japan, she's going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yep.
So that's kind of the deal right now, how these foreign talents are handling the situation.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Stay over in America, shoot some good matches, and go right back over to Japan, quarantine for 2 weeks, and back to normal.
It wouldn't surprise me with the way they're using her if they give her a contract.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that I think we see a contract out of.
Yep. So, but the point totals, I don't remember what the totals were. Do you off the top of your head?
Without looking it up, I don't, because I think I deleted all my text messages since Sunday night.
But I think it was a 3-point difference. I think it literally came down to that.
It was a 5-point difference.
5-point difference. Okay.
Yep. If I could have gotten 5 more, we would have tied. I know that much.
Yep. The 5 points on the first match.
Yeah.
So, but I will say you also got Scorpio Sky winning. That was an impressive pick.
Yeah. Maybe it was 3, and I think Scorpio Sky is what brought it down from 5.
Yeah, because you had 2 on Scorpio.
Yep.
I had 2 on Penta.
Yeah.
Yep. I should have went with my gut with the Death Triangle but I went with my heart with the Dark Order.
Yep,
so.
That's where I went to. Of course, I didn't expect Jungle Boy to last as long as he did.
I love that they had Jungle Boy and Phoenix at the end. I mean, Phoenix, we'll talk about him a little more once we get into our Dynamite recap, but he's a rising, he's already a star, but his popularity keeps rising, and Jungle Boy's going to be one of the biggest baby faces in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
The whole industry, not just
not
wrestling.
just AEW, but everywhere, yeah.
But I'm going to take possession of this title.
Yeah, that is yours until the next pay-per-view.
Which is May 30th, Double or Nothing. It's a Sunday again.
Another Sunday.
But it's a 3-day weekend for at least most people, being Memorial Day weekend. And Tony Khan kind of said that that's going to be on a Sunday, and All Out's probably going to be a Sunday as well.
Yep.
But he did say Full Gear will not be on a Sunday because of NFL season.
Right. He wants to that, and he kind of the way he talked is if it's a 3-day weekend, they want to do it on Sunday to kind of separate it. But otherwise, it'll always be a Saturday.
And it sounds like Revolution will go back to a Saturday next year, which thank goodness, because I was dragging at work on Monday.
Oh my Lord! I think I was up till about 2:00.
I watched the post-show scrums and a few other things, and I was just so down with the way the pay-per-view went off the air that I couldn't sleep for a little bit.
I know, but I gotta say they made up for it, and we'll talk about that as we recap Dynamite. Closing out Dynamite the way they did kind of helped make up for
Absolutely. Let's put a cap on Revolution, though, real quick. Overall thoughts for the pay-per-view, grade,
I thought
match of the night, all that good stuff.
I honestly thought it was a solid pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving it overall an A, just because that end brought it down for me.
And I'm giving it a B because of the ending. And I loved everything up to that point. I thought everything was perfect. Even the ending, the story was perfect. You had Eddie Kingston coming out to save his friend. It was dramatic. The timer's going down. We're going to get this big explosion. And then poof.
Yeah. Sparklers.
Yeah, sparklers and one boom.
Yeah.
And I text you right away. I'm like, that had to be a mistake, didn't it? Like, that
Yeah.
couldn't have been.
Yeah, I honestly started to wonder if we were going to see something like that when they set off the wrong ones when they went through the table.
Yeah.
They set off the back ones instead of the front ones, and right then and there, I just started going, this isn't going to end well.
Yeah, it's what irks me the most is I want to know what it was supposed to look like.
Yes, and
That's what I'm most curious about.
and we're never going to know.
No.
Because I don't think they'll ever do this again. I don't think Tony can let it happen again just because the fans are not going to like it a
And
second
I'm
time.
sure they tested it multiple times,
Yeah,
but it's live television.
anything can
I
happen.
mean, if you're dealing with pyro or if you ever do a spot with an animal, you never know what's going to happen, which we don't really see anymore besides Jake the Snake and the Snake.
Yeah. But still, even with the snake, we don't get much time with the snake anymore.
True.
It's a quick, oh, look, it's a snake. Oh, better put it back in the bag.
Yeah. But overall, I thought Revolution was a good pay-per-view, but I got to give it a B. I just can't give it in the A category, even though I want to, just because of that finish. I just felt so bad for the talents, for Moxley, for Omega, for Kingston, everybody involved that busted their butt up to that point. But what was the match of the night for you?
Honestly, the tag team battle royal.
That was the best battle royal they've had so far.
Yeah, I loved it from start to finish. You never really knew what was going to happen. Even though, I mean, at one point, I think when we were talking 2 weeks ago, or maybe even the week before that, when we made our predictions, DH2 was in the match.
Yep.
And then they were gone.
Yep.
But then Jack Evans still showed up.
Yep.
So, I mean, it was one of those you could not have possibly picked a winner because it kept changing every single day. And that's one thing I liked about it. It kept you on your toes.
Yeah, it kept us on our toes. And I thought every tag team came off with a little shine or something to advance their story.
Yep.
That's why I really liked. One team that was missing, I didn't even realize till Monday, was Top Flight. That's because one of them has a knee injury.
I guess I didn't realize that either.
They were supposed to be in it too, and that would have been fun to watch them in that match, but I didn't even watch
There was
it
so
Sunday.
much action
There
from
was
start to
15
finish.
teams.
Yeah.
I mean, Bear Country looked strong.
Yeah.
You had the storyline of QT and Dustin, which
It's
that's
still
still
ongoing.
playing out. Yep. You had, of course, like the Dark Order and TH2 and Private Party, and and then Jurassic Express. Marco gets involved and throws out Evil Uno, which was a odd spot.
Very odd.
But yeah, just good stuff all the way around, and loved the Final Four. It came down to John Silver, Jungle Boy, Pac, and Phoenix. That was great.
Yeah, and honestly, I got to say, would you have expected anything less from 5 to just get in and get right back out, basically?
Nope. He's going to blow up one of these days. He's going to.
It's coming.
He's going to have some rage or something.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
After
just see
last
it.
night, it's.
Yeah. Poor guy just wants some ice cream now.
I think my match tonight was, until the very end of the show, which that wasn't part of the match, was the barbed wire death match, exploding barbed wire. I just thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, it was pretty solid overall. Like I said, the ending and then that one table shot. Other than that, I thought it was solid from start to finish. I just really enjoyed the tag team match a little bit more than that, so I had to go with it.
It was smooth. I mean, it was smooth. What did you think about the cinematic match, the street fight?
I honestly thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, the way the cameras worked, everything. You know, getting them standing in front of the light with the camera facing them made them look great.
Yeah, I thought Darby sounded like had about 90% involvement with it.
Yep. And like I texted you during that match, there was only one spot that I was a little upset with, and that was when Starks went to powerbomb Sting and he reversed it.
Yeah.
That was a bad chop switch, but other than that, it was fluid from start to finish.
I thought all 4 performers looked good. They came out. I mean, the loss didn't hurt Cage or Starks at all. Cage looks like a monster. We even saw Powerhouse Hobbs and Hook show up. So, I thought it was really well done. It'll be interesting to see. I think a majority of Sting's matches, of course, are going to be cinematic, but still wouldn't surprise me with the way he's been taking bumps if we do see a match or two that is not cinematic.
I mean, there were, even with it being cinematic, there were a couple bumps in that match that I wasn't expecting to see.
No.
And I had to remind myself, he's okay.
Yeah. It was just nice to see him being Sting again.
Yeah. Yeah, it was real nice.
Been a while, but Revolution, it's come and gone. It was $50 well spent, in my opinion. I saw some people didn't think so on Twitter, but that's
to each their own.
It's everybody's opinion. So I'm glad I ordered it, and I'm already looking forward to Double or Nothing.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed.
Which we found out it's going to be at Daly's place.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed about that, but otherwise, I think it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to Double or Nothing.
Yep, TK and AEW is still playing it safe, which is smart. I think they want WWE to make the first move out on the road before they do. But I would think by September, All Out, they'll be on the road somewhere.
I think they'll be back in Chicago for All Out.
Yeah, I could see that. So, Being the Elite this week, episode 246, Revolution 2021. And I wasn't sure what to expect from this one. I thought we were going to get a little more than what we actually did, to be honest. I thought we might get some insight on the ending, but we really didn't.
No.
It opens up without the Good Brothers this week, but with one of the Young Bucks. Matt Jackson's says he picked up a new hobby at home and wanted to give some of the guys a few skateboards. He then realized he only got the decks and he needed the wheels and the trucks.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. he had to have done it after Revolution or after Dynamite taping or something, because you had to be tired to forget that.
Yeah. I don't know how that. It's got to be there in the details of the description what you're getting, I would think. So.
Yep.
We then see the Good Brothers chatting with Brandon Cutler. And Brandon Cutler from last week's episode is having some repercussions, I'll say, that he can't get rid of for a week now. And then they give him some tips to help himself out. I'm keeping it PG here. So
yeah, which is getting really hard to do with the Good Brothers.
It is. Their humor is the same every week. I get it. I get why they do it, but it's getting a little stale for my liking. We then see Ryzen, I believe is how you pronounce his name, talking with Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose. Nyla says that the donations are going great, but she's tired, so they need to figure out a better plan. They can't seem to think of anything. Ryzen finally comes up with church merch to sell to rich people.
You know, he said church merch, and all I could imagine was Nick Jackson doing the merch freak thing. I just kept waiting for it to come up somehow, somewhere.
Or Christian AF.
Yeah, either one of those two.
We then see a backstage clip of Shaquille O'Neal from last week's Dynamite getting ready for his match. He ends up entering the ring between the middle and the top rope instead of going over the top. We see Paul White react in the back, and he's very much okay with that, as he'll still go over the top rope for his entrance, he said.
Yeah. Was that supposed to be a hint at a possible match between those two in the future?
I think we'll see Shaq do something else, because I still don't understand why they did the ambulance spot if he's not going to come back eventually.
Yeah, he'd have to.
And I'm still kind of surprised we haven't
had a follow-up,
but long-term storytelling with AEW, so
yes,
they do everything on purpose, or try to. So.
Yes.
We then see Matt Jackson back at home showing his son how things would go on Dynamite with some Young Buck action figures. And we see replay of Matt hitting the flying elbow on Santana through the table, and Nick hitting the swanton off the stage onto Ortiz through a table.
Yeah, that was a nice little segment.
It was.
Starting to really see the younger Bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting some more camera time.
So
then we see the Good Brothers and Cutler yet again back at the hospital. Cutler's just trying to sleep away as Doc and Carl are talking. The Young Bucks show up and thank them for their help and wondered why the tables were needed, especially when they have a big match coming up on Sunday. Doc and Carl talk about Cutler's ongoing problems again, and then Doc does his best Vince McMahon impression.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all. There's not much. I mean, just go watch it for yourself.
Yeah, you that's one of those you've got to watch it. We can't do any justice to that one.
No. Then we see Matt and Nick sign a bunch of posters before Revolution. Matt says it feels like there's a buzz going around the venue in the hotel. Matt says about 1,400 fans are going to be in attendance, the biggest they've had since the pandemic took place. And I thought the fans were great Sunday night.
Yeah, they definitely added a nice little noise addition to it.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully they can start sprinkling in more and more as we go on. Then we see clips shown from the matches at Revolution, which I figured we would see that.
Yes. Of course, I mean, at least with the Young Bucks, I mean, it's their
it's their show. Cutler always shows shows their matches. So.
I think he makes sure to get them in there at least once.
Yep. Then we get the best segment every week of BTE, the Dark Order.
Dark Order.
They're talking about how they had 3 chances in the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal, but came up short. The group starts ripping on each other until tipsy Hangman Page shows up. They ask Page about how much money he's getting from Matt Hardy after winning the big money match. Page says it's 6 figures. The group talks about how they bought Page all of these items, but charge it to his own credit card. and what kind of items? I don't remember off the top of my head.
Whiskey.
6 barrels of whiskey or something like that.
6 barrels
Stu,
of whiskey.
I think, got.
I'm trying to remember what else there was.
Yeah, I didn't write it down.
They didn't stick out to me all that well, apart from the whiskey, because that's the way to win Hangman's heart.
But Hangman ended up telling AEW to just give all the money away after buying a much needed lawnmower.
Yep.
So if they bought him all that stuff, he's going to need to make a quick call, and he's kind of a little upset and heads off. The guys realize they forgot to ask Page about paying for Anna's shoulder surgery, and they talk about how no woman can replace her in the group. Then we see Maki Ito show up and yell, "Surprise, mother effers," and the group goes nuts.
You can't replace Anna.
No, they're not, but she...
it was a nice little sprinkle of, look, the Dark Order still makes sure there's a female present.
Yep.
And if they're going to do anything, just bring Ty in.
Yep. I thought that's where it was going, but it was a nice little surprise there.
Nice little swerve.
And speaking of Anna Jay, she posted on her Twitter and Instagram today that she had shoulder surgery, so she's on the road to recovery now.
Yep. She says she's going to be sleeping a lot for the next 2 days, but everything went well and according to plan, and she's on the road to recovery.
Yep. Now time for rehab for a while. So.
Yep.
Then we see Private Party heading to Matt Hardy's hotel room after the pay-per-view. The group and Hardy both lost their respective matches. Hardy opens the door and isn't in a good mood, eating grapes.
Yes.
And he's staring at just them with a cold face. They tell him he doesn't need to eat those. Hardy then slams the door in their face as that's the end of being the Elite.
And like I asked you afterwards, are they trying to give us a new version of broken Matt Hardy?
I don't think so. He seemed to kind of snap out of it a little bit last night.
Well, yeah, but until last night,
I had no idea what they were doing.
That.
I did hear on a podcast I was listening to today somebody's speculation on the grapes. Supposedly there is a story how when he was going through his troubles with WWE before he got fired, he was constantly eating grapes on the road.
Okay.
So it's kind of not a jab, so to speak, at WWE, but kind of like a...
Yeah, there's been a few of those going on here lately.
So I had no idea about that, so I'm like, okay.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So, because he had a falling out with the company for a while, and then they brought him back for the weird, great storyline, but uncomfortable with the real life stuff going on between Edge and Lita and him. That was, I still can't believe they were able to put their personal differences aside and get business done to this day. That would have been hard, but 2 professionals.
Yes, that they are.
But let's talk about last night's Dynamite.
Let's do this.
Start off with a banger of a match. Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks versus Ray Phoenix of the Lucha Bros. We both saw the match in 2019 in November of 2019 in Indianapolis with the other Young Buck, Nick Jackson versus Ray Phoenix. Still one of the best Dynamite matches, in my opinion, they've had.
Yeah, I mean, this match was back and forth. It was nonstop action. I hate to say total nonstop action, but it was total nonstop action.
Yes, it was.
And,
You knew it was going to be.
Yeah, I honestly thought Matt was going to pick up the victory here.
I was back and forth, but I think the right person won. Phoenix.
Yes. It kind of
Yeah.
reignites that Young Bucks Lucha Brothers feud in an essence.
Well, and Pac and Phoenix are the number one contenders for the tag titles.
Yep.
So you got to add to that story a little bit.
Yep.
But like you said, it was back and forth. Towards the end of the match, we saw Matt lock in a sharpshooter, and he continued to work on Phoenix's back, which was a theme throughout the match. Phoenix crawled to the ropes for a break. Phoenix then was looking for a running drop kick. Matt moved, and Phoenix catches Nick out on the floor. Pac was hovering over Nick. Matt sees it, runs out, and super kicks Pac back in the ring. Phoenix and Matt start throwing back and forth punches, a couple counters into a super kick on Phoenix. Phoenix hits a kick and then doesn't get it. Then he eats a super kick. Then gets up and nails Matt with a roundhouse kick to the head. It was back and forth. Both try for a super kick and kick each other's legs. Thought that was a really cool spot.
Yes.
Phoenix then reverses Matt's pile driver, throws his knee into Matt's head, nails a pile driver for the 1-2-3.
I think this is the first time in a few weeks that we haven't seen Ray Phoenix try to break his tailbone.
Oh, I thought he broke it Sunday.
Oh, yeah, he came up off
He
of that
literally
gate
landed in the
a
crowd.
lot quicker than he normally does.
He can't go any farther.
I know. What is he trying to do? End up in the...
The guy's the guy's incredible. I mean, he's when he's wrestling, I have to put my phone away. I'm like glued to the TV because he's that entertaining.
Yeah, he definitely is. It's always a good match.
That's going to be such a good tag team match between the Bucks and Death Triangle.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great match, which a lot of the Bucks matches are. And I thought their match at Revolution was all right. He's had two different styles. They work a lot quicker than MJF and Jericho, but I thought Jericho looked as good as he has in a long time.
Oh, yeah. Jericho definitely looked good at Revolution. But, yeah, the Bucks are a lot quicker than either one of them.
Yeah.
Even MJF, with him being so young, he just isn't a quick guy.
No, he's more of a fundamental wrestler, really. I mean, just the best heel in the game. So
yeah.
We then see Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston sitting together at looked like just like a living room, but a really cool fireplace, like table type deal.
Right. I'm trying to figure out, was that supposed to be Moxley's house or Eddie's house?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
That fireplace, though, was
cool. But they're commenting about what happened after Sunday night's pay-per-view. Eddie says, here's the explanation for what happened with the big explosion. Eddie says he was fully expecting a big explosion, and the reason he stayed down after what happened was simply he had anxiety creeping in and a panic attack, or PTSD, hit him. He recalls when he was arrested and headed to jail as the original trigger for his panic attack. He said, make fun of him if you want, but that's the truth. Then Moxley kind of wakes up, it looks like, and made fun of the bomb and saying Impact Wrestling probably bought those bombs and wondered if it said Acme on it, which is kind of a wily coyote little thing there, which I thought was a nice little
Looney Tunes reference.
Yep. He then continues that Omega was the better man that night, but he's happy to have his old drinking buddy back. And when I was laughing about that is he goes, I knew that wasn't you out there, and Kingston goes, AEW title makes you do crazy things. I love that line.
Yeah, it just kind of put a squash on the feud they had and said, look, we're past that, and here's why we even had it.
And then Moxie's like, well, but you could have came out there earlier. I was going to be beat up for like 18 minutes. And you had to get your eyebrows done and your Timbs. And Eddie's like, you know me, B. You know me.
Yeah.
I'm always in 1998. I got to look good for the pay-per-view.
Yeah. And talking about how Butcher and Blade and Bunny kept trying to hold him back. And I didn't
know I needed to face Eddie Kingston, but
until it
I'm
happened.
here for it.
Yeah. The moment it happens, you're like, ooh.
I want to see these guys go after tag titles.
I never even thought about that.
I don't, and we can talk about Eddie a little more later, but I don't really want to see him back in the title picture right now, at least.
No, and it'd be too soon for
he hasn't won a big
Moxley
match.
in either one of them.
Yeah.
Especially, the TNT is all he could do at this point, and that'd just be pointless.
Yep. So then they both said they wanted to see a bigger explosion, but they both said they're glad they didn't blow up. And then they told the Good Brothers, if you're and Omega, if you're gonna flash a weapon, you better use it.
Yeah, definitely some old school between those two coming out, kind of who they used to be on the indies and before Moxley got his big WWE contract.
Yep. Yeah, it was just, I didn't realize till their match at Full Gear how close these two were.
Yeah.
Dating back a while. So it's cool to,
Yep.
I mean, their chemistry, I mean, you know, you would think good friends and even spouses always have good chemistry on TV. That's not the case. You remember
Right.
Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch
Yeah,
a year
their
or two
chemistry
ago?
was not
terrible
good.
on screen.
And they were secretly engaged at that point, and it just didn't work
Sometimes it
out.
doesn't click for some reason.
Yeah.
We got some clapping emojis here from Zach Hinton. Thanks for watching, Zach. We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Zach.
All right, moving on to our next match last night. There's not a ton to say about the match itself. That's Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson against Seth Gargis. He's pretty much a dark talent.
Glad you got the name because when I posted the results, I just said Cody had a squash match.
I mean, this was a quick match. Gargis didn't get too much offense, and Cody really got him down with a running power slam and forced him to tap out with a figure four.
Yeah.
Quick and easy.
Yeah.
And
you can tell when Cody's got some type of upper body injury because he always reverts back to the figure four.
Yep.
Whereas if his upper body's good, he goes for the crossroads.
he had a ton of that athletic tape on his shoulder, which, I mean, from all what I'm reading, he's got a legit slight tear in his rotator cuff, and that makes me nervous that he keeps wrestling every week.
Yeah, it does me too.
But
I think I still have mine. I tore mine a few years ago, and I retore it afterwards. And I can definitely relate to it. And watching him do some of the things, I'm like, I can't even get my arm in that position.
Yeah.
How does he do that?
Yep. So, but post match is where this angle really went down. We saw Tony Schiavone heading to the ring to speak with Cody about his injured shoulder. Cody goes to speak, but he's interrupted by Penta L0M, who's sitting at the Spanish announce table. He brings Alex Abrahantes with him as a translator. Penta just oozes charisma. Even his suit was cool last night.
Yeah.
He says he's 1,000 times better than Cody, and if Cody's the prince of wrestling, of pro wrestling, he's the lord of lucha libre, in which we got a lucha libre chant from the crowd, and I love that Penta put his hand over the microphone and tapped it right with the claps. That was awesome. He says Cody is lucky he didn't focus on his shoulder more in the latter match of Revolution because then he wouldn't be able to pick his newborn baby girl. Cody immediately runs out of the ring to attack Penta. The two start swinging away. Wrestlers at ringside pull the two apart from each other.
Yeah, they came quick. I got to give them credit. I mean, I know they were all ringside, but I mean, they came quick.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So
they weren't going to let that happen. I don't know if that's a hey, Cody, we're not going to let you do anything else, or
he was sprinting at Penta before Penta even finished, or before Alex even finished the sentence for Penta. I mean,
yeah, he got to baby and Cody was gone.
I knew that was coming too, right? When he's talking about the arm, I said, "Oh, this is gonna be great." Because, I'll give Alex Abrahantes credit. When he first started with the company, I wasn't so sure about him, but he's getting better with his being the elite skits and his time. Has he been on Sammy's vlog too? Or not
occasionally,
just BTE?
but more BTE.
But he's, I mean, how he delivered that promo or the translating spots last night was really good.
Yeah, sometimes you get those translators who are just very monotone, and Alex definitely delivered the emotion with it.
Yep. So I'm all for this match. I have not seen their prior match. I've heard it's really good when they worked together prior. One person called it the best Cody Rhodes match they've seen. So we will see.
It'll be
It's
interesting.
gonna be good. I hope it lasts a little longer than just next week.
I hope so. I hope next week is just the start of the feud.
Yeah, because I think they could push both Lucha Bros. I'm glad they're pushing both of them in the singles.
Yeah, they definitely
They're a great tag team,
deserve
but
it.
they both deserve singles action. I mean, they can both be stars in singles.
They are great singles competitors. We normally only really saw that when one was injured and the other stayed in. But now that both of them are there, I was like, oh, great, we're going to get Death Triangle, and that's going to be it for those two. And seeing them in singles action is real nice.
Well, and Penta is a former Impact heavyweight champion.
Yes.
So he can go, I mean, in singles, so with the best of them. So we then get a spot at the arcade. I'm guessing the Jaguars have an arcade somewhere because this looked like the same arcade they've used for similar spots.
Well, I know a couple weeks back on BTE when they were, I think it is the exact same spot. It was a nearby comic book store or something
when
like
Kenny
that.
was playing the owners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
I think it's the same place.
Yep. We see Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. Chuck says this feud has gone on far too long between them and Miro and Kip Sabian. Chuck then offers up, how about one more match? If they lose, he'll be Miro's butler forever. Chuck offered up, it says Orange had a good idea to put arcade games cabinets around the ring so they can put their heads into each of them. Cassidy then finishes the segment and says, well, then break you with them.
Yeah. I agree. It's gone on too long. I'm a fan of Best Friends, but something's got to happen between Miro and Kip.
Yeah, I was hoping Sunday was the blow off for this. I thought that it was over. Let's move on. Let's get to the Kip and Miro split because he knocked off Penelope off the apron Sunday and didn't care because Miro was a beast on Sunday. That's how I like to see Miro.
Yep.
I don't know. I know you're a big Best Friends guy. I'm still so on them.
More Trent and Chuck than Chuck and Orange.
Yeah.
But
you need all three of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like, last year we had Orange beating Chris Jericho 2 out of 3 matches, and now he's stuck in this, and I can't see them losing because I can't see Chuck being the butler. So we're gonna give Miro another loss.
Yeah. And I mean, and the great thing is, even Chuck has said it. If you listen to the AEW Unrestricted podcast, when him and Trent were on there, he said, we never expected to be on Dynamite as much as we are. The pandemic kind of helped us get on to Dynamite due to travel restrictions, and look at us now.
I will say the parking lot brawl with Brian Powerful was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
So that was my favorite match they've ever done. So, but we'll see where this goes. I'm ready for it to just end, just so they can get on into different stories.
Yeah.
But
it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens.
Then we see backstage, Dasha Gonzalez is asking QT Marshall, I should say, about his actions towards Dustin Rhodes. Marshall says the emotions got the best of him, and he'll work it out with Rhodes. Right now, it's all about Lee Johnson and his match against Ethan Page. Got to be honest, I could not focus during this match because of the technical difficulties that happened. Not AEW's fault, through TNT. Don't know how that happens.
I don't either.
Somehow they didn't even have a NBA game on one of their channels, but somehow they were watching an NBA game that was going on somewhere else. The feeds intertwined, and we were getting a bunch of sound effects. I was confused. Twitter was confused. You were confused. I thought maybe they were doing some sound test over at the field where the Jaguars played, which is right next to Daly's place. But I'm like, then I got thinking, no, Tony Khan would shut that down. He would go over there and shut it down. We saw it go to commercial break one time. I'm like, okay, we're going to come back. It's going to be fixed. Nope, wasn't fixed. But then I saw people that were watching it overseas or in Canada saying they could hear everything just fine. So I'm like, yeah, this is TNT. Then Tony came out and said it was TNT's problem.
Yeah, working in radio, I was texting you. I'm like, I know what this is, a channel bleed over.
Yeah.
We have it from time to time with our secondary station, and that's exactly what it sounded like, especially, I thought the same thing. Maybe the stadium nearby or something was going on when you could hear the music. And then I started hearing the sneakers on the floor, and I knew from that point on that this was a bleed over. I started looking to see what all was going on, maybe somewhere else at Daly's place, at the stadium. I was all over the place, missed half the match because I was trying to figure out what's going on nearby that could be causing this.
Well, I actually got on because there's conference tournaments for college basketball going on, and so I'm like, has any of these smaller conferences played in Jacksonville? Like, nope.
Yeah.
So
it definitely was a dig and see what you could find, and there was nothing. Nope. I don't know if Ted Turner was sitting there watching TV or something and forgot to mute it.
I mean, at least they got it figured out after that match. This is the only match interrupted, but I felt terrible for All Ego Ethan Page. This is his Dynamite debut.
Yeah, and he's dealing with this, and he's got, from what you could hear, it sounded like great commentary going on.
Just couldn't hear it.
Yeah, what little you could hear, and I mean, they were trying, and it seemed to like all of a sudden get louder. It's like the guys in the truck realized it, turned up commentary, and then everything else just got louder, so they just turned it back down.
So basically, I don't have too many notes on this. It's pretty much Page hit the Eagle's Edge or the Razor Edge style power bomb, which for the cover, and that was it towards the end of the match. Post match, we see Ethan Page stomp away at Lee Johnson, but QT doesn't come into the ring to help out. Remember a few weeks ago, Lee Johnson thanked everybody in the Nightmare family except QT.
Yeah.
And then Dustin Rhodes ran out to help Johnson, and Marshall just walks out of the venue without a care in the world.
I think they're trying to turn QT heel.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
I mean,
absolutely they are.
Well, even before Sunday.
Yeah.
Just watching him over on Sammy's vlog, he's being very heelish with the things he says, the actions he has.
Yep.
So I think it's coming.
Well, and he worked as a heel before AEW.
Yes.
If you watch his documentary on Amazon Prime, which I recommend doing that if you haven't, it's really, really good, and you'll get a lot more respect for QT Marshall.
Yeah.
Go check that out. But we'll see where this goes. One segment I forgot before this, I got too far ahead of myself in my notes, was we saw Tony Schiavone come on the stage and introduce Sting, like he always does.
Yeah. He's doing it on commentary now. Coming up next, I'm going to be talking with Sting.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get using Sting was like every week, and they always advertise how he's going to talk. It's like, couldn't one of these weeks they just have him show up and not advertise it, but they advertise it for the ratings. I get it.
Yeah, but I think it'd still be just a bigger pop if he just walked out and grabbed a microphone and started talking.
He compliments Steen's effort in Sunday Street Fight, and Steen says Darby Allin is a dangerous man and puts his life on the line every night. Steen says you combine that with Sting in an environment like that, and you're going to get a win. Then we see Lance Archer erupt Sting, and he says if he's not going to be given time, he's going to take time. Archer says he's the face of the company and doesn't need a ladder match to prove it. Archer says if he doesn't get more, he'll take more than just time. Tony says that's fine, but this is Steen's time. Archer stares at them for a moment before going back, and Jake the Snake says, bye, Steiner. And then Steen pretty much says, till next time, Tony. Yeah. Walks away in the same tunnel that Archer and Jake the Snake just went.
Seeing Archer come out that side.
I think that's the last time we're going to see him out that side.
Yeah.
Because that was a heel promo last night.
And he did it on Sunday, too.
But they're going back and forth with them. Yes. Pick a side.
I know. It threw me off Sunday because I texted you. I said, this is a good split. We got 2 out one side, 2 out the other, Cody in the middle, and then the surprise entrance. And then you're like, no.
Just pick a side.
3 out one. I'm like, oh.
He's in a heel. Then he was a tweener. Then he's a face.
Yeah.
The Murder Hawk Monster. And I like watching Lance Archer in the ring. I like watching his work, but he is suited to be a heel.
Either a heel or an in-between.
Yeah. Not a face. So,
not a face.
I mean, he's got the sinister Jake the Snake Roberts by him.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
And I don't recall Jake ever being a face.
I don't either.
Okay. So it's not just me.
and I should have looked this up. I'm sure there's some history between Jake the Snake and Sting.
I'm sure there is. The way Jake said that to
But
Sting.
Jake the Snake was a WWF talent.
Yeah.
Sting was WCW.
And maybe that's all you need right there.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. So we'll see where it goes. If Sting and Lance Archer, that'd be a weird one. I didn't think we'd see.
That would have to be cinematic.
If they do cinematic, you know where I want them to do that. You remember right when Archer was debuting in All Elite Wrestling, and he had like that campground.
Oh yeah.
Do it there.
Yes,
that would be
the
great.
Rundown ring.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
fantastic.
Oh yeah, I'd be all for that.
Nighttime, and Sting come out with his jacket and the bat. Oh, I think that'd be fantastic. But if they do go against each other, Archer needs to win.
Yes.
Sting's got his one win. Not saying he needs to lose every time, but he needs to start letting the talents go over.
Yep.
Which he's all about that. He's
not there to make a bigger name for himself.
No, he's not like some of those other ex-WCW legends.
Yeah.
Brother.
Who's next?
Yeah. Who's next? What's next on my rundown is we have Alex Marvez talking with Hangman Page about his big victory on Sunday. Hangman says he gave most of it away to an education fund, public education fund there in Jacksonville, but he did get himself a nice new lawnmower. The Dark Order then shows up and asks if they can go for a ride, and everybody gets on, and then until 5, and everybody tells 5 to get off, and Heyman said, yeah, this got a weight limit. Yeah. So then Heyman goes, who wants ice cream? Ice cream! They all go ice cream, and 5's left there. Yeah, have fun. Bye.
Bye. I want to know how Alex has all the inside scoops of where everybody's going to be.
Your guess is as good as mine. He shows up at golf courses. He shows up in the back when they're building the extermination chamber.
He knows where everybody's going to be and when they're going to be there.
Yep.
And regarding the ice cream, I don't know if this is legit or just Stu Grayson being Stu Grayson, but in one of Anna's tweets today, she said something about ice cream, and Stu posted that Dark Order has ice cream.
It's not on AEW or shopaew.com yet, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean it won't be soon.
Exactly. I mean, it could be a prototype. I don't know
Sure.
if ice cream gets a prototype or not, but
Well, I mean, WWE made those ice cream bars years ago. I remember CM Punk always having one
yeah.
on advertisements, so we'll see. I'm sure they would sell if they make it.
Well, I'm sure they would.
We then see Tony Schiavone again. A lot of Schiavone on the stage talking to people.
Yes.
He's getting ready to talk to Christian Cage, the newest signee of AEW. But then he's interrupted by Kenny Omega's Sweeper Girls as they show up and just go right through him. And he's pretty confused. Then Omega's entrance music hits. Out he strolls with Don Callis and the Good Brothers. Callis gets on the mic and says, "We're not going to get to hear from Christian because they call the shots around here." Callis hypes up Omega and calls him the king of the death match. He says everything went according to plan. Omega corrects him, not quite everything. Callis says, "Oh, that sparkler thing at the end." He says they took a lot of the blame about what happened, but he won't confirm or deny if they were involved. He will admit they were happy to take away the fans' happiness and something they wanted to see, including Moxley not winning the title. Omega takes the mic and says it would have been fun to see Moxley vaporizing the ring, but beating and embarrassing him is just as good. He said it was the cherry on top for Moxley's childhood friend to show up and protect him and dry hump him as four sparklers shot out of the ring post. Then we see Eddie Kingston walk out to the ring. Callis said he had Kingston in Impact because he saw the talent, the toughness. But why did he have to fire Eddie? He did the same thing in Impact that he's done his whole life. While he's so close to success, he somehow finds a way to screw it up. Callis gives Kingston a chance to walk off with his pride intact. He tells Kingston he's got 10 seconds to get out. And the timer, the same timer we saw Sunday at Revolution, starts counting down. Omega tells Callis to north and south him and save him. It was a pretty funny spot. I cracked up. Callis drops down onto Kitty. Omega cracks off a few jokes. Omega wonders what Kingston hopes to accomplish out here. He tells Eddie if he wants to punch him, he'll see what happens. Kingston finally flattens Omega with a right. Ooh. The Good Brothers swing away. Moxley runs out as they brawl with Doc and Carl outside the ring. Omega's still down for the count. Then we see Christian Cage's music hits. He walks out as Omega's left alone in the ring. Omega's up on his feet as the two go face to face and jaw at each other a little bit. Omega looks for a handshake, but Christian passes on that offer. Omega then goes for a punch. Christian ducks him and tries to... Now, this says them prettier. I thought they called it something else last night.
I didn't catch what they called it last night.
They referred it to something else, which was a lot better name than them prettier. I think it's whatever they called it in TNA.
I don't know what they called it in TNA.
I don't have it down in my notes.
I know at one point it was the Kill Switch Engage.
Kill Switch. I think that's what it is. I think that's what they called it last night.
Yeah, so maybe
that's a lot better.
Engage might not have been there, but it was a long time ago because I remember he used to have a shirt that said "Flip the Switch."
Yeah. So Callis is able to pull Omega out for safety. Christian then picks up the AEW World Championship as Callis keeps Omega on the floor. Christian gives the title a look before heading to the back.
And he didn't just lay it down.
He took a good stare at it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know your two thoughts, of course, on Christian and Omega's little confrontation, but also, did they need to bring up the whole explosion thing again or not?
I think so. We got why Eddie acted the way Eddie acted, so now we get Kenny's side of it.
I agree.
Now I think we're done. We move on.
I agree.
Don't reference
it again. But I will say, Don went on forever. Those 2 minutes seemed like 10.
Yes.
It's like, shut up. I mean, he is a good heel because he gets on my nerves, but he's starting to get stale for me already.
Yeah, and it's just like the same 2 or 3 points, but reworded differently time and time again. He could deliver something in 30 seconds, but takes that 2 minutes and drags out everything. I don't know. I think now that we've got both sides of the story, it's done.
Now, Christian Cage, Kenny Omega. Thoughts on that?
As a Christian fan, I want to see that title around him. Mm-hmm. I don't think yet, though. I think it's too soon.
Yeah, I mean, is he going to be the next challenger to Omega, or is it? I mean, could be Eddie Kingston, but it looks like him and Moxley have some unfinished business with the Good Brothers first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to see Christian go straight for the belt.
It kind of feels like he's jumping a lot of guys in line.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if, say, next week he comes out and says, that wasn't a I'm coming for your title tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That was a look out because I will be there.
But I suppose, WWE does this a lot where they bring in talent, they get a title shot right away, they lose, then they build them back up with wins. I could see AEW going that route, but getting him a few victories. Say this is the matchup we get at Double or Nothing. Give him a few victories before Double or Nothing. He loses to Omega because, let's be honest, I think we both agree Kenny's got to keep this belt for a while longer.
Most of 2021.
Yeah, if not all of 2021.
Yeah.
So then maybe it knocks Christian down a little bit and he builds himself back up because I do want to see matches like Christian against Kenny, Christian against Cody, Christian against MJF, Christian against you name it, even Jericho. That'd be fun. I mean, there's so much talent he can work with.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I feel about him getting a title shot right away.
And maybe they use him to introduce a new title.
But you got to think how AEW's done stuff in the past. We're going to see Kenny defend this belt sometime before Double or Nothing because we're still 2 months away, and he is going to be defending his belt at Impact's Rebellion on April 24th.
I think that's where we'll find out for sure if it's going to be Christian or not. If Christian shows up knowing TNA very well, or Impact. Knowing Impact very well, if Christian shows up there, then he's going after the belt. If he doesn't, I don't see where they go with it.
Yeah, they got another month to build a story within AEW before that, but I think we'll see Kenny pop up on Impact probably this next coming week or in 2 weeks because Moose and Rich Swann are battling this Saturday at Sacrifice to unify the titles. I believe Rich Swann will probably win. I don't see Kenny losing to Rich Swann on April 24th, so he wins that. He's got 3 belts.
Yeah, and maybe that's where we go. Christian doesn't challenge for the AEW championship. Maybe he challenges for one of Kenny's other 2.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They could go a lot of different directions. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah.
And if they're going to have Christian come out with a shirt that says outwork everyone, you can't have him jump straight to the head of the line. And see, that's where I start getting torn.
Unless, he's trying to outwork everybody by going straight for the biggest target in the company. I don't know.
At least so far he hasn't walked out and said one more match.
He hasn't said anything yet.
I know.
It kind of reminds me of when Jericho came back years ago to WWE and didn't say anything for like 2 months.
Yeah, just kept showing up out in the ring.
High-fiving fans. And
the countdown kind of reminds me of when Jericho did that too.
Well, his count, right when it hit with the countdown 10, I knew whose music it was right away because I could tell the theme was his old TNA thing. So,
yep.
But that was a good call by you. Good call. I still thought it was a Kurt Angle. So
it was definitely better than some of the other choices they had.
Yeah. Punk and Lesnar were not happening. Cena was not happening.
Nope,
so.
I knew those 3 weren't happening. I really didn't want Ryback to happen.
No,
I like Ryback, but let's keep him out of the ring right now.
Yeah, when Tony said it's one of his favorite wrestlers of all time, I didn't think it would be Ryback.
Yeah, because Ryback hasn't been around that long.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
We then got a 6-woman tag match between Dr. Britt Baker, Maki Ito, and Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero versus Ryo Mitsuyami, Thunder Rosa, and Hikaru Shida. And this match was a little sloppy.
It was.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Right away, we saw a full-on brawl taking place at ringside, but Maki Ito sang her whole entrance like nothing was going on, which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Then we saw a lot of back and forth action early on. Shida tosses Maki Ito around before tagging Ryo Mitsunami in. Ryo hits a flurry of chops in the corner on Maki Ito. Then we see Nyla come in. She's throwing some big shots. She looks to hit the ropes. Vicky Guerrero has a distraction. Nyla knocks Thunder Rosa to the floor for 2 counts. Then we see Shida taking on Britt. Shida suplexes Ryo Mitsunami into the turnbuckle, crashing into Britt for 2 counts. Maki Ito stops Cheetah from kicking Baker. Then we see Thunder Rosa hit a beautiful shotgun drop kick on Nyla Rose after she got the blind tag. Nyla hits a back elbow in the corner, then tosses her onto the floor. Pretty much everybody's on the floor at that point.
Yeah.
Then Thunder Rosa hits a twisting crossbody. Rosa then grabs Maki Ito and tosses her in the ring. Vicky grabs Rosa, but gets kicked away. Maki Ito is able to hit a swinging DDT on Thunder Rosa for the 2 count. Rosa is finally able to hit a Thunder Driver on Maki Ito for the 1-2-3. I actually thought the other team was going to win, so this kind of surprised me. But post-match, we saw Britt Baker crack Thunder Rosa across the back with a crutch. And then Thunder Rosa's partners are being held back as Baker gets the choke on Thunder Rosa some more and then applies the lockjaw. Vicky and Rebel get in some shots too, and then they all laugh it up afterwards. And I even tweeted out, I want to take some kudos for this, that we need to see them main eventing a Dynamite soon. And I had no idea what we were going to get as an announcement.
I was texting you going, I don't want to see just a regular match between these two. It needs to be huge, a steel cage over in the stadium, something.
Yep.
And then we got an announcement.
Yep. Which Tony Khan in the post scrum on Sunday, somebody asked him about the women's division and when we would see them main event Dynamite, and he said it's coming sooner than later. So I knew it was coming, I just didn't know when.
Yeah,
and with who.
Definitely was sooner.
Yep. Before we get into that, though, got a few more things to hit on. Backstage, saw Matt Hardy with Private Party after his loss to Hangman Page. Hardy says he needs to bring more money in to make up for what Page did to him. Hardy says he has more than enough money to sustain the business. Hardy then says he signed someone new to the Matt Hardy Empire. Then we see it's the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. Matt says the 4 of them, Butcher, Blade, and Private Party, are going to destroy 4 people on AEW Dark Elevation, which makes its debut at 7 o'clock Eastern Time this Monday. Not sure who they're facing. But
I don't think we've had it announced yet.
What do you think, Butcher, Bunny, Blade?
Why?
Exactly. This is their third team, third faction.
Yeah.
Since they've been in
Yeah.
AEW with MJF originally, and then Eddie Kingston's family, and now this. It's like they don't know where to put them.
No, I think this will work out better for them just because Matt's got the experience to be able to figure out how to use them the right way, what to do with them. But, I mean, so they drop at the end of Revolution with Eddie and sign with Matt by Wednesday. Too quick.
Yeah, definitely stay on the heel side, which they need to.
Yes.
Eddie's full face, so that ended that relationship. But, yeah, but you can tell Tony thinks a lot about them or thinks highly of them because he's constantly putting them in angles. But I don't know. Besides that false count anywhere match against the Bucks, they haven't done anything really to impress me. The bunkhouse match wasn't bad against the Natural Nightmares either. Forgot about that one.
Yeah. But
they lose a lot. That's what I'm saying. They just don't win.
They look strong Sunday, though.
Yeah, they did.
So I'll give them that.
The Butcher always looks strong.
Well, yeah. I mean, look
He's
at
a
the
beast.
guy.
Yeah.
I mean, if I looked like that, I'd hope I looked strong,
That's
too.
true. Good point. Good point. Then we get the last match of the night. I thought this was going to be the main event, and it was the main event in speaking of matches, but not the main event of the show. That was for the TNT Championship. We saw the champion Darby Allin defended against Scorpio Sky, who won the ladder match, like Paul correctly predicted at Revolution on Sunday. Another good match, another one with a lot of action back and forth. We see towards the end of the match, Darby Allin nails the code red for 2 counts. Then Scorpio Sky rolls out on the floor, and then we see Darby going for a tope suicida, which Scorpio countered into a cutter midair. That was awesome. They replayed it like 3 times. They get back into the ring. Sky hits a brain buster for a 2 count. Sky puts Allin up on the top turnbuckle. Allin hits a back elbow that sends Sky to the mat. Darby tries for a coffin drop, but Sky counters right into a power bomb, which is another beautiful counter for a 2 count. Sky looks for a TKO, but Darby rolls him up with an inside cradle for the 1-2-3. Yet another inside cradle victory by somebody.
And it's always the little guys.
It is. Makes sense given size, but
it does.
I was surprised.
It makes sense with Darby because he's got a background in amateur wrestling.
Yeah.
And you kind of see that more with amateur wrestlers than some of the bigger guys who didn't wrestle. But once in a while, fine.
Yeah, we're getting it every week.
Yeah, at
getting a
least
little
once
redundant.
a week. And
It's like it's starting to become, I mean, not this bad, but it's reminding me of the WWE distracted finish.
yes.
Somebody comes out, distracts the opponent, the other person hits a finisher, wins.
Yeah, I hope we don't get that bad.
Yeah. So, post-match, we see Darby get his title. He goes over to Scorpio Sky, pats him on the back. Then right as Allen walks away, Sky gets an angry look on his face. He ends up working over Darby's injured ankle with a heel hook. A ton of referees come out to help break up the hold. Sky looks at his hands, then has an evil smile on his face and leaves. So Scorpio Sky has officially turned heel.
Yep, he went out the heel tunnel.
Yep.
That set it off right there. And I'm going to say I love Sky as a heel. Because if you're a fan of BTE, watching Sky, as a heel, you get this is the worst town ever bit. And we haven't had that. One, they haven't been traveling. But we were kind of getting away from that as they were pushing SCU as a face. So now
And he's really kind of broken off from SCU. I would say now he definitely has, being a singles competitor. And we saw, speaking of SCU, early in the program, we saw Kaz and Daniels in the stands because they're number 2 in the power rankings right now.
Yeah.
Undefeated in 2021. But the big stipulation is next time they lose a normal tag match, they're going to break up.
Yeah. So I think SCU is done to a point.
Mm-hmm.
The last few times they've come out, I don't even know if they've come out the normal way they would as SCU. I mean, to an extent they have, but I don't even know if they're face or heel anymore.
Their face, that Kaz, and they come out of the face tunnel.
I know, but they tried Kaz as a heel.
Yeah.
But then he got anger management.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
I don't know. Maybe we see SCU completely turn heel again and reform.
Well, I could see with that storyline, I could see the Bucks retaining a Death Triangle to beat SCU and end their career because they're all so tight and friends. That could be an angle.
Yeah, and that would cause them to turn heel.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll change from SCU to something else.
Well, they'll break up into singles.
Yeah.
Because I think Daniels is pretty close to just being a full-time coach.
He's been doing a lot of backstage segments. Anytime he's come out, when he's not been in action, he's got the khakis and a button-up shirt on.
Yeah, because he's got the history with Penta, but not so much with Phoenix or Pac.
Yeah.
So
it'd be interesting to see where it goes. We
then come to the Inner Circle War Council, as they were calling it. Inner Circle heads out to the ring. No Wardlow, though, which I put on Twitter from our Kicking Out Podcast Twitter. Where's Wardlow? And I text you, where's Wardlow? And Jericho says, when any great army needs to change its course, they have a war council, and that's what they are doing tonight. He says the group has been on decline lately, but they are the smartest in the business, and it's time for a new outlook, maybe to introduce a new member. MJF then jumps in and says, with all due respect, they don't need to add a member. Maybe it's time to let someone go. Then we hear Sammy Guevara's music hits, which surprised me because he was he
swerved us.
Swerved me on Twitter and Instagram. I was thinking he was at home with his cat paintings.
Yeah, I think he scheduled those to post.
Oh, somehow. I'm sure he did, and that's just easy to do. But yeah. And his music hits. He comes out on stage through the face tunnel.
Yes.
I might add.
Yeah.
Jericho says, "Wow, look who's here." Guevara interrupts him and says he knows he's the last person Jericho wants to see, but he needs Jericho to see something. Jericho reiterates that he's dead to the group. Sammy jumps in the ring and tells Jericho to look at what he has. Then a video shows up on the Tron. Sammy's putting a camera up in the Inner Circle locker room. Then we see MJF stroll in with Santana, Hager, and Ortiz and says he thinks it's time for new leadership. It's time to give Chris Jericho a nice dirt nap. They all seem to be cool with that change. Cut back to Jericho looking... cut back to everybody, the camera looking at Jericho. MJF says he didn't want Jericho to find out this way, but boys, get him. The three guys step forward slowly. Looks like Sammy and Jericho are going to fight him off. Honestly, what I thought was going to happen, I thought Sammy was going to turn and punch Jericho in the face.
See, I thought it was going to be the other way. I thought they were going to attack Sammy and Jericho, and we were going to get Les Sex Gods again.
Yeah, just the angle. It looked like Sammy was kind of looking at him like through his body. I'm like, he's going to turn around and cold cock Jericho, and that's how they're going to kick Jericho out of the group. and MJF's going to take over, but that wasn't what we got.
Yeah.
So they're taking their steps closer to him, and then they spin around to all face MJF, and Jericho tells them to shut up to MJF. Says that they talk every day. How stupid do you think they are? You know, they know what's going on. He then tells MJF he brought him into this group. He can get him out of the group. He shoves MJF to the corner and fires his ass.
Yeah.
MJF's begging for mercy pretty much. He tells him to hold on as Jericho says they're going to kick his ass. MJF tries to say he didn't want to take over the group because he's too busy building his own. MJF smiles and the lights go out. I'm thinking, oh, who's he put together? I'm trying to think of names. What's going on?
At that point, I was like, well, now I know where Wardlow was.
Yep, exactly. I was there, but I did not see what was coming.
Whew.
Even though going back a while ago, there was rumors, but there were so many other guys rumored, like Cody and some others. Lights come on, and we see FTR, Tully, and Wardlow, and Sean Spears all behind the inner circle. Then the fight is on. Spears whacks Sammy with a chair. Dax Harwood hits Hager over with a bottle. They handcuff Pride and Powerful. Then MJF sits on the turnbuckle and is just looking on. Wardlow's just taking it to Jericho. Santana and Ortiz get spike pile drive while being handcuffed by FTR and Tully. Wardlow holds up Jericho. Wardlow holds Jericho up. MJF smacks Jericho on the head with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Inner Circle gets totally destroyed in this segment. Jericho gets busted open from that shot. Jericho goes for the bat. MJF steps on his foot and takes Jericho's bat. Jericho pulls himself up with MJF and eats a baseball shot to the midsection, then another to the face, send him to the ramp. We also saw Wardlow hit him with a knee. The group carries Jericho over the side of the stage, and then we see Wardlow powerbomb him down through some stage equipment and the table. The group looks down on the fallen Jericho as the show comes to a close. That's how you end a wrestling show.
That is how you make up for Revolution right there.
Yes.
I got to say, though, I'm still not too sure on Spears being blonde.
Totally different look.
It is. I mean, when the lights came on, I looked at him like, okay, FTR, Tully,
because it's just
it just looks so weird that it takes me a minute to realize, oh, it's Spears.
I am all for this heel faction.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm digging it. And I asked you last night, and I'm interested to see how they do it. Inner Circle face now.
I think for this feud, yes. Maybe not totally, but I feel like Sammy can't be a heel.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. The fans pop when Sammy walks out of the face.
Hager's not a good face. No. We've seen that.
Unless he has been.
Yeah, and Santana and Ortiz can be a little bit, but they're more heelish. But Jericho can be a great face.
Jericho can be anything Jericho wants to be.
And now the crowd's really going to belt his music even more.
Yep. The one thing I would be happy with is kind of a split in the group. Not like the group splitting up, but you get Sammy and Jericho maybe who come out to face, and the rest come out heel when they're separate.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see the original Inner Circle back. This was the Inner Circle I was a fan of.
I'm surprised they're still together this long.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I really didn't see it lasting this long.
But the storytelling's been great.
Yes, it has from start to finish.
We got
with
double
Inner
swerved
Circle
last night.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this new faction. I mean, MJF, he's kind of like, I'm not going to call, well, it's kind of a new version of the Horseman, but you got 6 people in it. Yeah. Even though Tully's a manager, so I guess you got 5 wrestlers in it. But you kind of have MJF as the Flair of the group.
Because instead, MJF's I'm better than you, and
Flair of course you got Tully there, but I mean you got I'm blanking on the names besides Arn.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because they had some that came and went for so long.
I'm talking about
that it's.
But we'll see what they named the faction. I have no idea.
I know. I have seriously been on Twitter numerous times today
Conrad
looking for it.
owns the trademark for 4 Horsemen, but I don't think they're going to do that because there's too many of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they could do the Revelation because Tully's always feared the Revelation. They could go the Apocalypse, maybe. That's some more biblical reference, and it could kind of tie it all in, kind of. But I like this group. I love how strong they made Wardlow look last night. I think told you this
he looked
before
like a beast.
before we recorded. He looked like a young Dave Batista when he
Yeah.
was in Evolution. The FTR is one of the best tag teams in the world. You got the best heel in the game, and I think Spears finally just use him right.
Yes.
Let him go nuts now, because he said the chairman is back. That's what he said today on Twitter, and he threw Sammy into the chair. You can have a nice little feud with Sammy and Spears now.
And even last night, as they were attacking him, Excalibur said, "I think the chairman's back."
Yeah. Just let him go nuts. Like he doesn't care. He's going to be aggressive. I mean, you got Tully there. This is going to be a powerful heel group, and I am calling it right now. I don't know when, but it's going to be something this year. This is our blood and guts match. 5 on 5.
Yeah, because we're not going to get Inner Circle versus the Elite.
No,
that's clear. The
done.
Elite's
We're not going to get
falling
another
apart.
Stadium Stampede.
No. Oh, we cannot have another
You
Stadium
can't
Stampede.
do it. You can't replicate
No.
it. So I think we get blood and guts sometime.
Yeah, because that was the original plan.
Yep.
It was supposed to be the Elite
Versus Inner Circle.
versus Inner
but now
Circle. And something happened with Cody. And then we got Matt Hardy as a replacement. And then...
No, it was Nick Jackson. They did the garage door angle because Nick and his wife were having a baby.
That's right.
And Nick, remember, because he had the fake blood out in Colorado. It was the last show with fans.
That's right.
And then Matt replaced him because the Bucks did that angle where they went to the Hardy compound on Hardy's vlog. So it was going to be Cody, Hangman, Kenny, Matt Hardy, and Matt Jackson.
Yeah.
Which was in the Stadium Stampede. It was that. But they took out, there was no Cody in the Stadium Stampede.
Yeah. For the Stampede, Cody was gone.
He did
for
the TNT
whatever.
against Lance Archer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we had Matt as the replacement. Of course, I got to say with Stampede, I absolutely love it. We get Sammy's new favorite thing, being ran over by the gator.
Yep.
It's on his shirt. It's on his vlog. It's everywhere.
But I'm all for this. I loved how they ended that last night. And when they went off the air, MJF was talking to Dax Harwood. He said, "It's our time now." That's what he mouthed. I'm like, gosh, this is going to be good.
It is. I cannot wait. I'm excited. TK always finds a way to make up for whatever it was.
This is going to be a fun feud and fun story. They can go a lot of different directions. It's going to play out, I think, for the next 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a quick program.
No, and I don't even think – I wouldn't be surprised to see him drag it out to the end of the year.
And I closed my notes. I'm going to open those up. I meant to go over what we're going to expect next week. We got a big card. We got a special Dynamite next week.
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day Smash, because it's St. Patrick's Day next week.
I got to – while you're pulling that up, I love how Tony incorporates the holidays into the shows.
Absolutely.
We've seen the New Year's Bash, night 1 and 2. In 2020 and then in 2021.
This is St. Patrick's Day Slam. I'm sorry, not Smash.
Slam. Okay.
I get Smash, Bash. Yeah, Slam.
Yeah.
So.
Bash at the beach.
You're
beach
right.
Break.
It's fun to get these fun
It
Dynamites.
is, because with only having 4 pay-per-views a year, you've got to do something, and these are the nice little things that seem to take place in between it.
Now, this one will be taped.
Yes.
So it was actually recorded tonight.
Yeah.
Or it's being recorded tonight. I don't know when they exactly recorded, but we're going to get the tag team of John Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus the Good Brothers.
That'll be a good
one. Now,
one.
do you think if the explosion went off like it was supposed to, we would still see Mox on TV?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
No. I think they were going to use it to write him off so he could go hang out with Brene for a little while.
Yeah, I still think that's coming eventually, but I don't know when.
Maybe in the last feud here with the Good Brothers.
Could be, but who wins this match?
I'm torn.
I know.
Because I'd love to see Mox and Eddie win it.
Well, Eddie needs a win, and Moxley's his only losses are to Kenny.
Yeah. So, I mean...
And the Good Brothers aren't technically all elite wrestlers.
Exactly.
But they are champions of Impact. So I think Moxley and Eddie win.
I do too.
Yeah.
Honestly.
They were going to get Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson versus Penta El Zero Mito, or M, I should say.
Yeah.
I was surprised they're doing it this quick, but...
very quick. Unless they're trying to write Cody off of TV between the shoulder injury and the new baby.
Which Brandy was saying he's not taking a parental leave today on Twitter, so...
Yeah.
I think
be weird.
Penta needs this win.
He does.
Because then if he can get a win against Cody, maybe he can get up to the TNT title against Darby. He wins that, then he's one of the top heels in the company.
When Death Triangle won Sunday night, I texted you. I said, so are we going to see Death Triangle with all the gold? The tag titles and the TNT.
Yeah. I mean, they're all three unbelievable talents that the company sees star potential in all of them. So,
be interesting to see if they can pull it off.
Then we're going to get Jurassic Express and Bear Country. Nice to see them on Dynamite versus Matt Hardy, Private Party, The Blade, and the Butcher with the Bunny.
Yeah. Again, I'm still trying to wrap my head around Butcher, Blade, and Bunny with Matt Hardy. Butcher and Blade always deliver, so I'm looking forward to the match. But
that's why I'm picking Jurassic Express and Bear Country, though, because even though I don't like Matt Hardy taking more losses, really, or Private Party, Butcher, the Blade, and Bunny always take losses, it seems like.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they want to give Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus especially any more losses.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to build Jungle Boy is extremely hard to defeat, so you got to go with Jurassic Express and Bear Country on this one.
Jade Cargill's going to be in action. We don't know against who, but that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be nice. A lot of people want to get behind her, but it said, all she's done is compete against her training partner, so it's hard to fully get behind her. So maybe something like this will help her really get that fan base started.
In the main event next week, for the first time in Dynamite history, Britt Baker against Thunder Rosa in an unsanctioned lights out match. Anything goes.
Which makes it interesting because it's unsanctioned, and as we know, with Moxley and Kenny, they don't count the unsanctioned matches. So will it officially count as a main event?
But it's the rubber match for this rivalry. Who do you got?
Oh, man, I want to pull for Thunder Rosa, but Britt's got Rebel, Reba, whatever.
Yep, she's got that,
and Vicky.
She's an AW roster member. I think Thunder Rosa would be if she could. Technically, she's still NWA, who's going to have a pay-per-view coming up soon. So you think she's going to turn up there soon.
They're shooting stuff again, but Serena Deeb's going over there because she's got the belt.
She's hurt.
I know.
But, she's got to go over there eventually, though, to defend it.
So do we swap out Serena for Thunder?
But Serena's so instrumental with the coaching, too, of the ladies, so... I want both of them. I think Britt gets the win, though, in this match.
Sadly, so do I.
Yeah.
I want to pull for Thunder Rosa so bad.
They got to put the rocket ship to Britt. She's got to be the next contestant for Sheeta's. It's time.
She's going to be the one to beat Sheeta. It's just a matter of time. Yeah. Will it be double or nothing?
Yeah.
Will it be, all out? Maybe that's what they're waiting for is the fans' bag to hear that pop of her winning the title. Because
could be, but I feel like they tried to put other stories off. I mean, FTR and the Bucks at Full Gear, they wanted to put that off as long as they could, and finally it's like, we can't put this off anymore. We don't know how long we're not going to be able to have crowds.
Yeah. And I think the only beneficial thing now is we're starting to kind of get a better idea of when we're going to see fans back. We had 1,400 Sunday.
Yep.
Hopefully we start to see more of that in Daly's place.
Helps that's outdoors. That helps big time.
Yes, it does. And as you saw through Revolution, there's tape.
Yep.
Sections taped off.
Oh, they do it the safe way. They do pods. They do it the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, Mania, I know we're all elite podcasts here, but WrestleMania, the 2-night event, they're going to have 30,000 in Raymond James. That's going to be about 5,000 more than they had in the Super Bowl in that stadium in February.
Yeah.
So... which we'll see.
And, of course, hopefully by then, maybe we start to see more and more things open up.
Yeah, well, we're seeing more states open, of course.
Yes.
But Tony Khan's been on record, they're not going to leave Florida till it's really safe to do so.
Right.
Because they can do whatever they want in Florida. So.
Yeah, I mean.
And they got everything right there in Jacksonville.
Right. It helps when you own a stadium.
Oh, could you imagine? I mean, look at the WWE. They're going to be in a conundrum here in a little bit. The Friday before Mania, the Tampa Bay Rays start playing baseball in Tropicana. They got to move.
Yeah.
They haven't announced where they're going.
Yeah.
They got to find somewhere because I don't think they want to get on the road till I've heard a rumor of like July. Is when they're targeting maybe finally getting out and moving. So they got to find a home away from home soon too, because what's going to be weird for them, they're going to have 30,000 in a Mania, then they're going to go back to no crowds again. So, but I get it. They got to have fans of Mania this year. They can't.
You got to. Last year was not good for them.
Nope. So I get it. So, but Dynamite this week, letter grade from you. B.
Solid B. Mainly because there were a few things that I just felt were too sloppy.
Yeah.
That women's 6
Yeah.
tag.
That was just,
It felt
Chemistry was
very
off.
sloppy. Yeah, the chemistry was off. The mic shots at the very beginning were probably the worst mic shots I've seen in history. And that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's
yeah.
come down and
she's still extremely green in the ring, I should say.
right,
But,
and it shows. And they even announced that up until a few years ago, she was traveling with all female pop band, and that's why she does her singing.
Yep.
And I know it's hard to see from where the ref was positioned, but if you watch closely, Sky's shoulders came off the mat.
Did not notice that.
And the camera was right on it. So it kind of brought it down for me. Otherwise, I think I could have given it a good A.
I'm going to give it a B as well. I'm going to agree with you. I thought about maybe going B+, but I'm going to give it a B. I gave Revolution a B because of the finish, so I got to give this a B. I mean, I love the way this finished, don't get me wrong, but
right.
The 6-woman tag match, like you said, the whole Ethan Page match, I know it wasn't AEW's fault, but all the nights to have that happen, it was last night, after Sunday. And then there was another time, which this stuff happens, Shivani's mic was out, and he had to get a different mic. I don't remember which time
it was
that
early.
Was that when he was going to talk to Cody?
Yes.
And then Cody threw it to him?
Yes. And Justin Roberts' mic was quiet.
Yeah, it's just like, got to get these audio things tuned up. But still very enjoyable Dynamite like it usually is. Made me feel a lot better about everything that happened Sunday.
Yeah.
Wrestler of the week?
MJF.
Now I'm going with somebody different now. That's who I was going to go with.
I mean, I wanted to go Sammy, but he came back into a chair shot, so that didn't really work out.
No.
But I got to go MJF pulling that off. I did not see that coming.
No, I didn't either. I mean, it was perfect.
Yes, it was. Now I got you on the spot. You got to.
I'm between two
out.
guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Darby Allin.
Okay.
Retained his TNT title. I
Yeah.
mean, he was beat up during the match and he retained it. I honestly thought they might pull the trigger on Scorpio. Taking him over Ray Phoenix. I almost took Phoenix because that was a good singles win over Matt Jackson because he keeps getting more wins and they keep pushing his star higher and higher.
Yeah, and the only reason I couldn't go with him is he didn't do his high-flying stunt and try to break his tailbone.
You're right. He did not. They kicked each other on the shin instead.
Yeah. But I got to say, for this week and this week only, I have the worst member of the night.
Okay.
And this, I'll say, of the week.
Okay.
Rick Knox. I love Rick Knox. He's a great referee. Sunday, he tried to call Ray out, even though he went through the middle rope, and you can clearly see he went through the middle rope. Nobody but Knox questioned that. And then last night, when Scorpio was attacking Darby, he called for the bell that had already rang.
I didn't catch that. So.
He's checking on him, and it's like, dude.
Sometimes I just wanted him to stick to tag matches.
He needs to.
Yeah. They got some refs that need some work. I mean, I'm not saying Rick Knox is a veteran, but they do have some that need some work.
Yes. So. Yes. I think Rick's just getting tired because he's on everything.
Yeah.
He's on Dynamite. He's on Dark.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's going to be on
Elevation.
So
I am looking forward to that show. That looks like I'm going to check it out.
Monday night.
You just see how Paul White is on commentary.
I have never heard him on
haven't
commentary.
Either.
He said this is the passion of his.
Yeah,
now, I've heard him as guest, but you never heard him say too much. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, he's fired up. I mean, he did he's done some interviews, and then he was on Renee Paquette's podcast Oral Sessions today. I listened to that, and she had Christian Cage on this past episode on Monday. So
yeah, she's staying busy while she's pregnant.
Yeah, sure. Her podcast's fantastic. I love that she's getting all the new talents on record. It's fun to hear why they're coming over, who they want to work with, and so forth.
So does this officially mean Renee's with AEW, or do you think she's just doing it because of John?
I think she's just doing it because of John, doing her own thing. I still think we'll see her collaborate with AEW in some sort after she has the baby, but
yeah,
she's a star. She can do whatever she wants.
I don't know if it was last night or Sunday night, but I saw a picture of her and Brandy backstage together.
That was Sunday at the pay-per-view. And Renee posted today on Instagram, she is officially an American citizen as of today. She was Canadian.
Yep. I forgot she was
finally
Canadian.
Got her citizenship today, which is very cool.
Yeah.
She said she's going to eat or drink like 1 million Budweisers and eat 1 million hot dogs on the 4th of July this year.
Well, she won't be pregnant by then, so.
That's true. She'll be allowed to. So, any other final thoughts, Paul, as we wrap up another episode?
I'm coming for that thing next pay-per-view.
I'm going to hang on to it for a few months. I'm going to enjoy it. Maybe I'll get greedy and put it up on one of the special Dynamites one of these nights. Ooh. But it's not going to be next week. I'm going to hang on to it a little bit.
I think we're too close for next week.
I'm a fighting champ, and I'm not a Cody Rhodes with the TNT title.
Yeah.
Or a John Cena years ago with the United States title.
Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet. I want to savor my title a little bit. But
maybe as this goes down the road, we'll start making it every week.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe. So follow us on all of our social media if you haven't already. Twitter and Instagram at Kicking Out Pod. Like our Facebook page. Subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels. You can see all of these episodes in video on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. And, of course, wherever you're listening to this podcast, hit that subscribe button. If it's on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review. That really helps. And if you want to see us, certain segments or ideas you got for us, please reach out. Let us know. We love doing this show. I mean, we're doing it because we love All Elite Wrestling, but we're also doing it for all of you that listen and watch every week. So please tell your friends about us. We'd appreciate it. And we're just getting started.
And with that, he's Tanner Lee. I'm Paul Zardman. Join us next week as we kick out yet another podcast.